Okay, get ready because today we're unpacking a really incredible story. Transformation, resilience, huge cultural impact. We are diving deep into the journey of Ebayz. I mean, a name that's basically synonymous with pioneering new waves in the cannabis world. And just so you know, this whole deep dive, it's built from some fascinating excerpts we found in Ebayz. From Dyckman to Cannabis Kingpin, which comes from Nug Notes, they do some great work chronicling cannabis culture figures.
Absolutely. And our mission today really is to pull out the key nuggets from Ebay's life. We're going to trace his path, like right from the beginning, street entrepreneurship, all the way to becoming what the source calls a cultural connector in the cannabis industry. But what's really compelling, I think, is how he faced these massive setbacks and didn't just bounce back right. He actually turned them into what the source terms legacy plays. We want to dig into the how and why behind that.
Exactly. So, yeah, grab your headphones. Let's jump right in. We should probably start at the beginning, right? His roots. What do the sources tell us about his early days? Dyckman, New York City, and then making that big move at 17 to Orlando. That seems like a huge jump.
It really was. The sources paint this picture of him. Yeah, 17 years old, leaving Dyckman, heading to Orlando, but then, crucially, forging these connections down in Miami. And that's where it starts.
Yeah.
His first real venture, running Cuban-grown haze back up to New York City.
Haze was huge then, wasn't it?
Oh, it was the wave. But think about it. It wasn't just knowing people wanted haze. It was understanding why it was the wave. What was he seeing on the streets in NYC? He must have sensed, beyond just popularity that this strain was dominant, that was going to redefine things. That kind of intuition with no market research. That says a lot about his early business sense. He wasn't just riding the wave. He was directing the current between Miami and NYC.
Just observing, shaping it. That's a key difference. And that instinct, that drive, it seems like it really kicked into high gear around 2011 when he moved west. To the Bay Area specifically. Why California then? What was drawing him there?
Well, California's cannabis scene was just starting to really explode legally and culturally. It was the source. So his move, it shows real strategic thinking, right?
Yeah.
Go where the innovation is actually happening. Don't wait for it to come to you.
Smart. And what did he find there?
A whole different universe of flavors, basically. Stuff totally unknown back east at the time.
Right.
We're talking like Girl Scout cookies, different kinds of purples. But here's where it gets really interesting, according to the sources. He connects with someone, through a barber, actually, a guy named Delvin, also known as Cookie Monster.
Cookie Monster.
Yeah.
Cool.
And Delvin wasn't just connected. He was bringing truly groundbreaking genetics to the table. Things like F1 Durban and this really sought-after cut called the Real Thin Mint cut from a breeder named Jigga.
Wow. So like top tier stuff.
Exactly. Potency, unique terpenes, exclusivity, the kind of thing collectors wanted next. And then came Cherry Pie, Forum Cut, and the big one, Sunset Sherb.
Ah, Sunset Sherbert. The sources call that one next level. What made it so special? Was it the taste, the effect, just the fact that it was hard to get?
All of the above, really.
Yeah.
But the exclusivity was huge. If you had an ounce of Sunset Sherb back then,
Yeah.
it meant you were seriously tapped in. Like you knew people. You were connected to Mario Guzman, who, later became the famous Sherbinski and the original Cookie fam.
The pioneers.
Right, the originators. And Ebayz was right there.
It was, because Delvin facilitated it. Ebay's got, and this is key, the first load of Sherb packs. The very first shipments.
So he was the first to bring Sunset Sherbert east.
That's what the sources say. He basically sparked that whole wave back east. It shows he wasn't just a distributor, he was a tastemaker, right? Identifying what's next in a market that's moving super fast.
A cultural catalyst almost.
Yeah.
Precisely. He wasn't just moving product, he was shaping the culture around it. He could see what was coming, bring it in before anyone else, and then right after Sherbert came the Gelato wave.
Another huge one.
Yep. And again, Delvin the Cookie Monster blessed him, as the source puts it, with early Gelato packs. We're talking specific phenos like 41, 33, 25. Ebayz had first pick. That status cemented his role, helping usher in this whole new movement. Having that kind of exclusive access is incredibly powerful in any emerging market. He was kind of a kingmaker.
Incredible rise. But these stories often have turning points, don't they? The sources mention something pretty serious. They call it a bad night. Something that led to serious consequences, facing potential life in prison even. That's heavy.
Yeah, a major turning point. And the sources detail his choice. Take a plea deal, serve his time. But what's striking is his focus immediately turned to rebuilding upon release.
It wasn't just about getting through it.
No, it seems like it was a strategic pivot, almost. Faced with something that would derail most people completely, he chose a different response. It speaks to incredible inner strength, maybe, a clear vision for what he wanted after. And it's interesting, that time inside, it wasn't just lost time. It seems he used it to reflect, plan, maintain connections. That's often where these legacy plays start taking shape, adapting the strategy even from inside.
And that seems to be exactly what happened, because while he was incarcerated, the sources say someone called Animal Pack 420 introduced him to a new concept, Backpack Boyz.
Right, a delivery service out of Pittsburgh apparently gaining some real traction.
What grabbed him about that, do you think, especially being locked up at the time?
Well, there was this meeting, apparently right when he got out. Like 2 days later, Delvin, Cookie Monster, again instrumental, took him to meet the founder, Juan Quesada. And it was there, according to the sources, that Ebayz first heard cannabis called candy, specifically talking about their lemon cherry gelato.
Candy, okay, that's a different framing.
Exactly. It was an aha moment, showing how marketing, how you talk about something, can totally change perception. It showed him a new way to present cannabis.
So he saw potential in that branding, that approach.
Yeah, and he ran with it. He actively helped push that backpack wave, this high-end direct-to-consumer delivery model, often with really vibrant, unique packaging, into Florida and New York, again, spotting a trend and amplifying it.
It's amazing how these connections keep playing a role. But the next part of the story, it takes a sad turn, but also leads to something really meaningful. Delvin, the Cookie Monster, passed away.
Yeah, that was a huge loss, clearly. But what followed is quite remarkable. Delvin's cousin, Brooklyn, apparently had this vivid dream. Delvin told her, all your answers are back home.
Wow.
So she connects with F1 Durbin, another key figure, who then points her towards Ebayz.
And Ebayz gets inspired by this.
Deeply inspired. He pitches this concept, the Cookie Crisp cereal box idea.
Like the cereal.
Exactly like the cereal box. It wasn't just about a strain. It was a tribute, a piece of art, a really clever marketing angle all in one. It connected everything back to Delvin, the Cookie Monster. And Ebayz, another significant player, gave his blessing to make it happen.
That blend of personal connection and innovative marketing is powerful.
It really is. It shows how personal relationships, honoring a legacy, can actually drive business innovation, taking that emotional core and turning it into something tangible, something that resonated with a lot of people.
And the launch itself, Candy Crisp in 2024, it was a big deal.
Huge. It was a collaboration, Ebayz, Be-Easy, Street Cred CEO, and Cousin Cookie. And crucially, the proceeds went to Delvin's family.
That's important.
Very. And the drop just went viral. It absolutely cemented Ebayz's reputation as a real cultural connector, like the source says, bringing different people, different parts of the culture together for a common cause.
And then came Ebayz 3.0, his own brand.
Yeah, launched shortly after Candy Crisp. And the name itself tells a story. Apparently, his brother coined it, E, from his nickname, Bay, for his love of the Bay Area, San Francisco.
And the Z.
A nod to eBay. Because he was so good at moving packs, high-end cannabis shipments coast to coast, it perfectly encapsulates his journey.
What a story. When you look back at the whole thing, from Dyckman, the moves, the innovations, the setbacks.
It's Ebayz's ability to not just adapt, but to actually innovate through the challenges that really stands out, doesn't it? He genuinely turned those massive setbacks into legacy plays. He didn't just bounce back, he built something bigger, more meaningful, arguably because of the adversity. It's more than just a cannabis story. It's really a masterclass in entrepreneurship, cultural influence, using your own narrative.
It really is an incredible journey, navigating huge obstacles, becoming the central figure, and constantly turning challenges into these powerful legacy moments. It kind of gives you a blueprint for innovation in unexpected places.
Definitely. So maybe for you listening, as you reflect on this, think about those diverse paths to entrepreneurship, to cultural influence. They aren't always straightforward, right? What does Ebayz's story tell you about that mix of, intuition, networking, sheer determination needed to not just spot, but actually create new movements in a market that's constantly changing? And maybe consider how even the toughest setbacks can somehow become the foundation for something truly lasting.